Trader pregame show is brought to you by Auto Trader. Shop all the cars all in one place.
All right, here's our poll question for the night. Does the reported Blake Griffin trade make the Detroit Pistons a playoff team? Use the hashtag FastBreak. Again, we put some of the best responses on here throughout the night during the games. Make sure we talk about it. So, guys, what do you think about this? Detroit Pistons, I mean, they were second in the East late November, and now they're ninth in the East. Does this trade make them a playoff team? Sam, we'll go with you first.
Well, think about it. Second in the East, they had an unbelievable start with the team that they just broke up. Okay, they had some injuries. Avery Bradley missed some games. Reggie Jackson missed some games. So you can look at it from that standpoint and say they just had some bad luck. I don't know, Chris, from this standpoint. When you have to look at their roster and say, okay, who's going to play the two? Who's going to be the three? Who's going to be the consistent outside shooter? Because, Zeke, you know this, NBA coaches are not stupid. They understand how skilled Blake Griffin is, and they understand that Stan may try to put the ball in his hands and use him in different ways. But guess what? As long as you make Blake Griffin a perimeter player, I feel like I can beat you. Not saying he can't make shots, but can he make enough shots from the perimeter? Where Blake Griffin is at his best when he's coming downhill at you at all times. And then with DeAndre Drummond, how are those two going to work together? I know Blake is used to playing with a guy like Drummond, but is Drummond skilled enough? And in the future, is Drummond going to be able to change his game to the point to where he can be a good complement for Blake Griffin? And then third, what is Stan playing? I mean, what is he trying to build? Are there any other moves he's going to make? Because, again, who's going to knock down shots? Tobias Harris was their most consistent scorer. Yeah. All right. When Avery Bradley was playing, he was a consistent scorer and their best defender. What are you going to do now? I understand the move from a PR standpoint and bringing fans to the game and having a big name, a star. Some other teams could use a guy like Blake Griffin. Yeah. But from a basketball standpoint, I get why the Clippers did it. What does it do for Detroit in the East? I don't know, Chris. It could make them an 8 seed, maybe a 7, but the East, man, you start looking at teams in the East. You start looking at Indiana and some of the other teams. They're not bad teams, and people have been sleeping on Miami, but they're sitting there right now at 4 saying, look, we're going to be a tough out for anyone.
Yeah. So, Sam, in hearing what you're saying about the shooters around him, Reggie Bullock shooting 44%, Luke Kennard 43% from outside, and Anthony Tolliver has really emerged a guy shooting 40% from outside as well. So, Isiah, from your standpoint, when you have guys that are getting less minutes because they're playing behind other guys that are showing the propensity to play better, and you have a guy like Blake Griffin who's also shooting about 6 3-pointers a game as well, does that make this trade make a little bit more sense to you?
No, and the reason why I say no is because first thing you got to be able to do is defend.
Okay.
And the Detroit Pistons, what we're known for is defending. And right now, this move doesn't address any of the defensive liabilities that the Pistons has, right? So you can change it around from a point production and minutes production standpoint, but does this make you a better defensive team? Does this take you from 24 to 15, from 24 to 10? So when you talk about, is this a playoff team, right? Those playoff teams, the top 8 teams in the East right now, defensively, all those teams are relatively pretty good. And when you look at the bottom, when you look at Indiana, you look at Milwaukee, and you look at Washington or Philadelphia, or any of those 4 teams, who's going to drop off? I don't see Philadelphia, dropping off.
Don't see Milwaukee. They're starting to play better.
I don't see Milwaukee dropping off. I see Washington, they could.
But they're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got too much talent.
Yeah, but I don't see Detroit leapfrogging.
Who are you going to get?
Any of those teams, and I don't see any of those teams getting ready to just have a serious tank.
But you say Indiana may be the team, but when you look at all of them, as far as, look, we know what Philadelphia, the talent they got. If Embiid stays healthy and can play the rest of the year, you know how good they can be. The only team I can see on the outside chance but they've been playing consistent basketball all year, Indiana, because they don't have, quote unquote, that star guy, that one guy that can drive.
So you guys are saying the East is improved.
Yeah,
yeah, the East is improved.
Yeah, and I think that's what I mean, you know, you look at that. Everybody's over 500. You know, when you talk about those playoff teams. But I think what Indiana did is just similar to what the Clippers did. So we look at Oladipo and Sabonis, who have come over and made a tremendous difference, okay, in Indiana's team. I think Avery Bradley and Tobias Harris is going to make a big difference with this Clipper team. When you put them with Lou, when you put them with Doc, now they can match up. Now they can do some other things. And, you know, I just see that, you know, losing Tobias, losing Bradley, those are two solid guys. I mean,
and they got veteran experience.
Yeah, those are dependable guys who are high character guys. You know, you know when you go to bed at night, you ain't gonna wake up the next morning and Tobias Harris in trouble.
or yeah.
You know, these are good guys. So
it's gonna be interesting.
I don't think this. My opinion, I don't think this makes the Pistons a playoff team.
Now, we just heard that from a Detroit Pistons legend. What about fans of the Pistons? What do they think about it? Looks like they're with you. Not yet. Black Mamba is not Kobe Bryant there. He says that the Pistons are not going to be a playoff team. But what about the Philadelphia 76ers? They're playing the Milwaukee Bucks without Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Doing some work going inside in the first quarter. Keep you updated. This is the Auto Trader pregame show.